Hey guys, welcome back to Real Auto Solutions. My name is Jack. Today we've just got my own Hilux. We're going to vacuum bleed the cooling system. So sort of new technology, probably been around for a while really, vacuum bleeding stuff, but not a lot of people do it. But now it's more common to need to do it with the things like EGR, coolant pumps, and just the way cooling systems are routed. We now need to be vacuum bleeding systems. It makes it a lot easier for when you're doing repairs on the cooling system to get all the air from behind the thermostat, which can be a common airlock and be a big problem for opening the thermostat essentially. So when we vacuum bleed the cooling system down, we're taking all of that air out and essentially, I guess, injecting coolant behind the thermostat everywhere throughout the cooling system. So bleeding up the cooling system is very fast, efficient, makes it nice and easy. Also is a good thing for essentially checking that you don't have any coolant leaks. We can use essentially the opposite of a pressure test. If it can hold vacuum, it can hold pressure. So if you do a big repair and you want to vacuum it down, you can vacuum it and hold the vacuum gauge on there for 10-15 seconds. If the needle doesn't move, then pretty safe to say that there's no coolant leaks able to happen. So yeah, we'll guide you through that process now. First things first, please disregard all the cutback wiring. We're just about to put some better tubing and stuff on there, but yeah, this is essentially my Hilux. It's 1KD 3 litre, and yeah, we've got a new intake on there, got rid of the EGR, new high mount turbo, it's a F55 Greddy, a twin plate clutch, etc, etc. So when you're working on your own vehicle, what you need to do is locate the radiator cap or expansion bottle, the place where coolant goes into. So we've got our expansion bottle on this one, and this is where we will adapt our cap to. So this is the essentially pressure testing cap, and this is our vacuum bleeder right here. So this works better when the system is more empty. It doesn't matter if the system is fully empty of coolant, but yeah, you definitely would prefer to be empty. The only downside is if you have coolant in it, when we're vacuuming it out of this line here, essentially we get some coolant spray, and if there's more coolant in there, then we'll be getting more spray, and it's just sort of not ideal. The other thing that you're going to need is a compressor to essentially venturi the air out. So this is how our setup here. We've got two taps. This is our suction line back into the system, and then this is our suction line out. So this will be vacuuming it and coming back in with our two taps here, and our gauge for our fitting for our airline, which will be for the venturi, and our gauge to show us where the vacuum is and essentially how full we are. On this system, we can see coolant filling up, but if you have a closed radiator and you can't see, you can use the gauge to essentially know when the car is full of coolant. So what you can do, we'll just take this up and over. It has a little hook on it. Common vehicles that need to be done with a vacuum setup, like I said, is ones with EGR coolant pumps. We just snap that on there, and then you can turn this around. You can actually, I think we can even spin these things, but that'd be fine. Nissan NP300 Navaras have to be done. They've got coolant pumps down the front here for the EGR cooler. So yeah, have to vacuum bleed them. So essentially what we want to do is just put the air fitting right here onto our vacuum gauge. Okay, just needed two hands to snap that on. So we're locked off here and we're locked off here. So what we can do is essentially open this one up, and then all we need to do is turn our gauge on. And now we have air flowing out of here. And we can see our gauge moving down, and we watch our hose. So we're vacuuming all the air out of the system. And look at our gauge. I usually like to take it into the -70 sort of range. And you want to lock this off here. Lock that off. And turn this off. Take that off. Just turn this compressor off. Okay. So our gauge is sort of holding nice and still. And we still have a vacuum down system. Oh gee, my coolant is leaked. Not ideal. Ooh. So the next thing that you want to do is get essentially a big bucket of coolant, enough that the car is going to take. So you see we had some blue coolant in the gauge, and that's sort of what sprayed out on the front of my car. So that's just what you need to be wary of when you're filling a car or vacuuming a car that has some coolant in there already. So this end with the gold fitting, just stick that in our bucket like this, and then we just want to turn our dial like that, and then essentially this is drawing from here, sucking it in, and we'll watch this fill up. We can watch our dial go down. You can see the car is filling up. And we're going to have to mop that up. And now we can see our hose is filling up at the top. And this thing was 20-litre thing was pretty much full. We probably, I don't know, got maybe 5 litres in there, 6 litres of coolant that fast through the whole thing. Essentially this whole cooling system is bled of all of its air now. We can see where our bottle is. And now our gauge is right down the bottom. Take the cap off here, turn this off, and that's essentially it. The cooling system's bled, and you can drive it. The bottom hose is guaranteed to get hot, providing you have a good thermostat in it, and yeah, it'll be nice and efficient, nice and quick. You can imagine if we weren't, obviously discussing it, how quick this could be to bleed a cooling system. So something that I recommend we do on all of our cars, like I say, especially modern day cars needing to be vacuum bled. And then yeah, that's it. So anyway, please consider liking, subscribing to the channel if this helped you out at all, showing you how to do a vacuum bleed on a cooling system, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.